Hey, this is a Spaniard keeping it Titan this morning on this special Cinco de Mayo edition of the morning sound off. I got a guy who knows a thing or two about what you might see after a Cinco de Mayo party. So stick around. We'll be right back. One. Hey everybody, this is the Spaniard keeping it Titan. I'm broadcasting live from Red Zone, the Green Zone, and everywhere in between. Yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm doing something special, so don't have a shit fit. All right, just adapt and improvise. Like I promised, I got somebody special here that's in an industry that we really don't hear too much about. Now we hear in the news lately about all the heroes that we're seeing, and I don't want to be taking away too much away from them. However, these are some other kind of heroes. We're talking about the other blue collar type, and today I have a plumber who's been in the business. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Garry Norris, the plumber.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Right on, man. Great. So, first off, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come here. I mean, I'm sure I don't know what it's like out there. Are you quarantined? Are you sheltered in place? What's the story there at your place?
40 plus days shelter in place, and
wow, you've been counting down. Huh?
It's been rough,
Yeah.
to say the least. Within reason. I mean, we've gotten out and we do stuff, take a little drive here and there and get the kids out. But there's no contact with any other humans, and it's tough.
Wow,
But
man, yeah, I think it's craziness out there all around. But the reason why I wanted to have you on the show today is, we hear so much on the news, and there's always articles about the first responders, right, and the men and women in the hospitals, the medical professionals. And again, I'm not taking away. I salute them. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. But then there's other people that's in the scene that we don't really see that keep this country moving. And without them, I think life is difficult, or would be difficult if it's not already. And that profession is the profession that you're in, and that's plumbing. So I wanted to start with first. How did you get into this profession?
So it fell into my lap a little bit. My background was in computers and going through like the early 90s, and I had an opportunity to work with a company on the south side of Chicago that wanted to revamp their computer system and input a lot of data, which is what was right up my alley. And the job kind of fell through, and an offer was made to become a plumber, to go through an apprenticeship and to get into the plumbing. And mostly because of my dad's, my dad was a maintenance guy, and he was like a jack of all trades. He worked in a lot of different areas, mostly maintenance stuff and buildings, hospital, or not hospitals, but hotels. He worked for the Archdiocese for a while, and so like I was his, I shuffled his toolbox around for $1 an hour when I was a kid. So that's kind of where my background kind of began, with working with my hands. Yeah. And I didn't really have anything else going on. So like if I didn't have that computer job, I was searching at that point in time, and so I took it, and I'm so thankful that I did. I've had 25 plus years in the industry, and I wouldn't change it for the world. That's for sure.
Right on, man. That is outstanding. When you first started, what were your first thoughts?
I saw a lot of dedicated guys and women in the industry that believed in their craft. They bled plumbing. That was the one thing. It was a part of their life. It was a part that paid the bills. They were able to take trips. They were able to buy nice cars. They were able to support a family and live comfortably. And I think that just the camaraderie between the plumbers and the apprentices and the other unions out there, because I went through the union and was working for a union shop. So you've also got your local 150 operators, and your laborers out of local 5 for our particular shop. Everybody was all in. You know, they did whatever they needed to do to get the job done, as long as safety was the number one factor that kept them coming back every day. You know, that was a major part of the company that I worked with, was safety was first, you know, and foremost. So when I kind of get a taste of that when I was a young apprentice, that kind of hooked me. I was hooked by their ability to fix things under really stressful conditions, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what hooked me. That's for sure. I say it with a smile on my face because I'm thinking back of all these,
Yeah.
you know, all these different situations that I've been in. Whether I've been 60 feet in the ground under a pool, Finneran Pool in Calumet City.
Yeah.
We've all been there. I was under the pool, and I've been high up in the air, you know. And I don't do all that great with heights, but I've been really high in the air, strung up, hanging off of beams, you know, with my safety equipment on and stuff. But it takes you in so many places. I've been very fortunate. I myself have been a very fortunate plumber to be able to do different types of jobs, digging in the ground, working at homes downtown. I've been to a water tower place and some super fancy condos. You know, so it's a whole gambit of, you know, digging with a shovel, you know, to working with, you know, little Allen wrenches on a fancy faucet, you know. So I ran the gamut for sure.
Right on. Now, one of the reasons. Now, I'm going to come clean here. We were talking about your trophy wife. She's my producer for the show, and we were talking about you. And one of the things she said, you know, we got to spice things up. You know, we want people to really just grab onto this story and really get them hooked. So we're going to do our best here. We're going to try to satisfy her and hopefully the people out there that are looking for like that wild story. So, Garry Norris, if you guys are just joining us, I got Garry Norris, the plumber. He is an actual plumber, and he is on the show to talk about some of his experiences in this industry. So here is the question that I'm going to give you, and I think people want to know. What is the craziest thing, the most strangest thing that you've ever had to pull out of a sink, toilet, drain, whatever it is, that it'll be unforgettable, like you will never ever forget this? Do you have one of those stories for us?
Yeah, well, for sure. The one thing that happened earlier in my career, which should have completely turned me off. This should have been a turn-off from day one, but it didn't. Yes. It was actually really funny. It ended up being funny. So we're at this, it's a grade school, okay, and it doesn't have a basement, so everything's, you know, right on a foundation floor, and the whole entire school is backed up. You've got probably, you know, 8 to 10 bathrooms in the school, and they all come out one area of the school, and that pipe was clogged with roots on the outside. So you've got a 4-inch pipe coming out of the foundation wall. Now, take it, we dug down probably about 3 feet, and we're next to the building. We dug down, we found the pipe, and then we had to dig even deeper because as it comes out of the building, it went down into the main sewer pretty deep, probably about another 10 feet deep.
Wow, okay. So
we took apart this section of pipe, and there was no water. There was nothing. It was just like dripping out of the pipe. And we're like, oh, it's got to be, you know, it's backed up into the building. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, work the different rotting machines and some tools that we had to try to, you know, pull out whatever was in there. And we ended up pulling out a root that was, it took up the complete circumference of the circle of the pipe itself. Yeah. It was probably about 5 feet long. Is just solid roots, solid.
Yeah.
So when sewers back up, what usually happens is you've got your solids that float to the bottom, and then your water slowly backs up, and your water is usually the last thing to go into the pipe. All your solids pack in to the pipe.
Yeah. So
we pull this root out, and the plumber that I was with, he's like, oh, you know. This doesn't look good. There's something, you know, there's got to be something else. He's like, well, you know, maybe we should get a flashlight and, you know, look down inside there. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, I'll do it. You know, I'm already muddy. I'm filthy because I was digging and he was, you know, kind of watching, you know, you're an apprentice, that you're digging.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll get it, you know. So I look down in there and I'm like, man, I go, it doesn't look, you know, like I don't see nothing, you know. And all of a sudden you hear this like a thud. It was like gugum, gugum. And he's like, back up, back up. He's like screaming at me. I would probably say about 30 feet. It's what we call the shitworm. It came out of that pipe. And I mean, it was just a solid piece of poo. Right. And it was crazy because it went right down into the pipe that we were like chasing down into the ground. It just hit it perfect.
Wow.
And just dove down in there, and it ran for like 5 minutes. And then finally, like, the paper came, and then finally some water behind it.
Yeah.
But the shitworm was that right there. I was like, wow, that's like amazing. That's like so cool.
5 minutes.
You
of
know,
that,
yeah, some people would be a little turned off by it, but man, I was down for it by then. I mean, I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. You know,
oh my God, yeah. That's an image I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was pretty crazy. One of many. I mean,
yeah.
If I might embellish on another one, I do have one more.
Sure, yeah. Lay it on me.
We were working at a hospital, and the hospital is really old. I mean, from the late early 20s.
Yeah.
And they had added on different sections through time, and they've always had a trouble with the grease coming out of the kitchen. They weren't able to manage it, and so we had to like always go in there and try to clean the grease traps out and clean and rod and jet and do stuff to the pipes to clean them out as best we can, like on a monthly basis. And so we ended up going in one day, and we were rotting out the sink and putting the cable in the sewer, trying to clean it out and do whatever, and it wasn't working. Something was wrong. We go to find out in the basement. The pipe in the basement had broken loose, and there was nothing but food and grease just like everywhere. The pipe had rotten. It was just corroded, and it just broke. So we go down there, and we kind of managed to clean up and do what we can to try to fix the issue, because it's high in the ceiling. You're talking 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So we're down there, and the guy that I was with is like, hey, I think there's something else that's wrong. And I'm like, okay, let's go take a look at it. So we go into the back side of the kitchen, back on the main floor again, and we're going and we're trying to find like where this pipe goes through the wall, and we couldn't find it. So the maintenance guys gave us the okay to like break open the wall and see on the back side of the sink where it was located, and it was in a loading dock. So low exposure to any patients or people or traffic or anything. It's just truckers and unloading the goods and from the trucks there. Yeah. And so we start banging on the wall and start pounding on the wall. As soon as we broke through that wall, I mean, the one thing I don't do well with are creepy crawlies. Mm-hmm. The entire wall they poured out of the wall. Nothing but roaches. Just poured out all over the place. And I'm just like, dude, I mean, right now I'm getting kind of goosey right now thinking about it. And just there, and it honestly, anywhere you go, no matter what kind of facility it is, if you've got food and grease and you've got chemicals and you're going to have roaches. They abate for them. They try to get rid of them as much as possible, but you're not going to get rid of roaches completely, And so, but here, they've been thriving on that broken pipe and that grease and that food for a long time. That wall was filled up. That wall was filled up with 2 feet full of sewage back inside the wall. So, I mean, the whole thing was just, so it took about a week for them to, get rid of the roaches, clean the wall, had a sanitary company, company come in and like clean the wall out and completely sanitize the kitchen. And then before we could go back and actually fix it. So yeah, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back there until that was clean. But I could take care of the poo worm, but I'm not good with
not the creepy crawlies. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of the same thing. Yeah, I'm the same way. For me, it's frogs. Frogs creep me out, man. Like, or if they're crawling on me. Yeah, it's weird. But there's a story behind. Yeah, and my story behind that though. Well, hey man, thanks again for accepting my invitation. Now, quick tidbit here, a little show note production note. Garry and I used to go to high school together. I saw that he was watching some of our shows, and I think it was Monday Motivation. He had chimed in, and we caught my attention, and it was just nice to see that he was watching. So I connected with him, and it was just nice to see him and talk to him. But really quick story. I mean, Garry was he was a lineman. This guy was when we played football together. I think it was junior year was when I really got into football. But yeah, Garry was a center, and I remember he took this job really serious, man. I would see him prepare to go to practice. And I remember he used to wear those black, they were like forearm things,
Yes.
those forearm pads, and you would
Yes.
beat the shit out of this pole I don't know if it was warming up your arm, I don't know what the hell. And I'm a running back. I'm clueless. I'm just give the ball and run, or here block for Bonnick. It was always something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you did this thing with your forearms. I'm like, this dude is for real, man. This is the real deal. So
Hey, I was 175 pounds and I was 6 foot, so I had
Yeah.
to. I took a beating. That's for sure. But
yes, you did.
I've played center all my life, so that's the only thing I knew. So.
Well, thank you from a running back. Thank you for making the holes, man. Yeah. Or thank you for even getting the game started, the play started. Thank you for that. Without you, I guess we couldn't even play, right? So right on. So if you guys are familiar with the show, the Morning Sound Off here, we like to have our guests come on, and we ended the show. We like to get to know them a little bit better by using the Spaniard's lightning round questions of 3 questions. We just want to find out the human side of our guests. So we have Garry Norris, the plumber,
All right.
and he is going to answer 3 quick questions. Garry Norris, are you ready?
I am ready.
Roger that. All right, first question. What shows are you currently into?
So, I really love Oak Island. Even though the show goes absolutely nowhere, I love that mystery and that history mostly.
Yeah.
I love anything that has to do with history. That's like a big thing with me. But I also like my crime dramas like NCIS. Those are my go-tos when I'm bored and I want to, just kind of veg out on something. Definitely some NCIS, Oak Island. Anything on the History Channel, I love the deep history, mostly Chicago history. I love Chicago history. But yeah, those are my go-tos right now.
Right on. Cool. All right. Easy enough. Question number 2. What do you hope never changes?
Amid what we're going in right now, I hope it's handshakes and hugs, because I'm a big hugger. A lot of people don't like a big giant dude coming at them with a hug, but I love hugging everybody. That's and handshakes. I think it's just a gentlemanly thing to do. I think I'm kind of an old school guy when it comes to that. You open up doors for ladies, you shake hands, you stand up and shake hands with men. That's like, for me, that's gonna suck because I like the human contact. I like to bring people in nice and close and let them know how much I love them. And hugs with other people and friends, that's going to be a tough one for me. No doubt about it. I'm planning on sneaking in some hugs, let me tell you.
Yeah, hey, no problem, man. Hey, I'm not afraid. I'm definitely not afraid. So if we see each other, no problem, man. Hugs are all around, man. Hugs are on me. No worries. All right, and question number 3. I like to ask this of all of our guests. It's kind of my common go-to theme question now. All right, Garry Norris, Hollywood's about to do a movie on you. Yeah, very good thriller, you name it. It's going to be about your life. Who do you want to portray you?
Well, I guess I'm just going to have to be real.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Brad Garrett.
Garrett, nice.
I think he would do a proper impersonation, or act as if I was there. I think he would do really well, considering I think he's funny, sarcastic, a little oafy, But I think he would be a good substitute for Garry, no doubt about it.
Right on. Very cool. All right, Garry, thanks again for coming on the show. But before I let you go, we always we do a final thought. Garry Norris, the plumber, final thought.
Final thought for me would be, let's remember some of the people, not just your nurses and your doctors that are frontline workers in that respect. think about the people behind the scenes. You've got your garbage men who are taking care of the garbage that are coming out of these hospitals and coming out of your own homes if you're sick, and your plumbers. Your plumbers are right there on the front lines, fearful too of going in and working on homes, working on hospitals, going to these places, and they're dealing with the raw materials of this situation, raw materials on a daily basis. Not just pumping up the plumbers here, but realistically, a lot of plumbers don't get enough love. I'm always one for Big Plumber Day, and your March 11th is World Plumbing Day, and I always try to celebrate that. But think about the people, the smaller people, the people in the shopping, your cashiers, your stockers, all those people. Everybody's crabby, everybody's under a lot of pressure. So are they. They have a job to do. Give them the respect that they deserve, no doubt about it, and just treat everybody as you want to be treated. I think that right there sums it up for my final thought. Treat people as you want to be treated, no doubt about it.
Right on. Excellent final thought. Thank you so much, Garry Norris, for coming on the show. And if you guys, in case you didn't miss this live, it's always going to be here, right here on Black Sheep Bravo. And you know what? I'm been a little lazy. I got to get these shows over to not Facebook. I just said that. Got to get it over to YouTube and get that all archived.
Yes.
So you can catch this show over there as well. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning where we get to do this all over again with the morning sound off with Preacher and myself. Thanks for tuning in, not tuning out. And as always, keep it tight. Spaniard out. And we are clear. Thanks again, my man.